Welcome. Last year I was told I cannot walk because the camera didn't allow me to move from here, so there was an X, and this year there's not, so I can walk. I'm super happy. I hope I will not walk too much. So, how do you make money with your side project? We are developers. We are asked constantly to make side projects, and we want to solve problems with technologies. And that's what I did. I had an idea. I arrived in London around 15 years ago. And one of the hardest things in London is to meet new people, because big cities are incredibly lonely. It's very easy to find apps for dating, because there's a lot of money around dating, but there's very little around meeting. So there is Meetup, you might find something, but it's very hard to meet someone to do something which is not an intercourse. So I create Meet for Tea. And the idea was, I just want to meet people based on interest. So I created a website in Angular back then. I was a big Angular fan 15 years ago. And nothing. Because guess what? If you make a website, no one knows about it. No one is going to find it. So I tried Google Ads, and for some reason, it's not the only project in which it happened. In the first day, Google Ads worked amazingly, and people start subscribing, and then nothing. And so after a month, I realized that my acquisition cost was £2.5 per subscribers, which is way too high. So it didn't work out. I cannot afford it. I don't make any money. I cannot afford £2.5. So let's go back and let's try to have another idea. Let's try to solve some other problems that I have or that I see around me. And back then I was investing in crypto. My big problem was, am I making money or not? So I created CryptoViewer, which the only purpose was collect all the data of my investment. That's not my actual money. Collect all the data of my investment, put them together, and I want a number in a currency I can understand. So the idea behind this one was it should be absolutely free to use. It should connect automatically. And that's very important because back then there was not a single service like Open Bank today that allow you to collect all your financial data. And it should take no user data whatsoever. Actually, I don't even want user data, so I don't have a server that someone can hack. So everything is in the mobile phone. It should have no ads whatsoever because ads collect data, and it should be in multiple languages and support different fiat currencies. And it's an app because I thought maybe apps are better because the App Store shows apps, and if I do a nice apps, it will work. I throw a bit of Google Ads, so I had a huge spike at the beginning, but API change all the time, so it's a constant work. It's constantly someone telling you, I don't know, Coinbase changed their API, you need to go and fix it and release a new version. There's constantly new tokens, especially back then, we were talking about 50 a week. There's a lot of spam because people trying to spam the support group, my email, and so on. And it's a constant work, and there's no monetization. And there are strong competitors. Blockfolio had probably between 1 and 2 million a year to compete with me. Like, it's a lot. And no monetization is not 100% true, because in reality, at a certain point, I added a banner, so I had the possibility of partnership. So, did CryptoViewer made money? Yes, but it made money because I got paid in Ethereum when Ethereum was $200 per ETH. And I forgot about it. Till 5 years later when I remember, by the way, someone paid me in Ethereum. So I probably went slightly above breaking even with CryptoViewer. And it's still there, there's still users, but it was a nightmare. Apple wrote to me like once every 6 months telling me, we don't believe you made this app alone. Tell us who is the company behind you. And so they tried to boycott me every time. They blocked my app. I had to explain, no, it's actually just me. I don't make any money. It's okay. So, and then they killed advertisement on Facebook. They killed advertisement on Google. So at the end, I gave up. So I want an app with no maintenance. I want something I do, and if it works, it just works. And that's how I create Imexel. Those are all the icons. Well, no, those are a small subset of the game icons in different seasons. So that's the game. You have levels. Every dot is a level. Every level is an image. You need to guess what it is. If you get close, the game gives you a hint. And if you get far, you just say wrong. So, for example, that one is a plague doctor, which was one of the ideas that we had to avoid the plague during the 18th century. We put a beak. So, simple game, no maintenance, I thought. You just build it. So, how does it make money? Let's talk about ethic for a moment. Let's stop with the problem. So, what is ethic? Ethic is a set of moral principles, especially one relating to or affirmed to a specific group, field, or form of conduct. Now, there's a huge discussion in general if ethic is personal, non-personal. You can go to Kant, you can say that ethic belongs to a human being, but I don't care, let's give me a new definition. Ethic is an obstacle to money and happiness, developed by our non-lizard brain. We live in Europe, we are under it, there's no way out. But I found this TikTok the other day. So the first video has 11 million views. If I have to pay for this number of views, it will be around 40,000 euros to get this number of views. And this guy is talking about how he lost his daughter because of vaping. So it's a very touching, there was also a very touching sound that explained that his daughter started vaping, and they are parents, they noticed this, that she was vaping more and more with her friends, she asked for money, she was vaping two or three of those puffs, which, by the way, those things should be banned because they're a battery and people throw them in landfill, but I don't want to start on that. But anyway, she was vaping, she ended up in the hospital, and doctors tried to do everything, and then in an X-ray, and there was nothing to do. She went into coma, she died. So this guy invented an alternative which does not include puffs. 11 million views. Now, this is the guy that has a daughter that died in a hospital. Does it look believable? I have some doubts. So I checked the other videos. Well, in the first one, the daughter died. In the second one, the daughter survived. In the third one, it was a friend of the daughter. And there is no affiliate link I could find which make me suspect this guy made this account to sell their product. So, let's say it sounds horrible, but what if he saved life? What if, even if he cheated about being his daughter, it's a real story and he saved life? Is it ethical or not? So, where is my line? How do I want to monetize what I do? Now, I wouldn't do that. But would I go for whales? A whale is a user that spends, let's say, 1,000 a week. I work in the gambling industry 16 years ago. A whale can be a huge part of your revenue stream. I didn't want that. So in Imexel, you can buy hints, but there's a limit because you can only buy 3 hints per level at most. So there is a high cap. I cannot find whales. Do I want to go for addiction? Do I want people to click repeatedly so they have a constant dopamine stimulus? No. So in Imexel, you have to leave the game to find a solution and go on Google. So it has no dopamine system, it has no points, no time, no... And people ask me all the time, like, I want to be on a leaderboard, I want to be first. There's nothing in Imexel that allows this. So no whales, not addiction, no user data. I get an email every couple of weeks about someone that would pay me to install the SDK that collect anonymous data from my app. And they pay for it. There's no anonymous data. Let's be serious. There's a lot of studies. There's no anonymous data, so I don't want to do that either. And I don't want investors, because investors would question all the principles before. I had a friend that made a project that was without investors, with investors in an ethical way. It was incredibly hard for him to find someone. It did, but really, really hard. So when you start, ask yourself, where is your line? So if you want to make money through your ideas, ask yourself, what is your ethical line? Now, what percentage of app actually makes money in any way? 0.5%. And I wonder how many of those ethically, or at least with my idea of what I want to make money with. So, but Mezzo was making money. That's the interesting part. So this is 2019. I was the 11th top grossing in Italy, which means money per user. And by July 2019, I was first, which means my app was the app that made more money per user in Italy back then. And I was in a nice position in other countries. At a certain point, I was top 20 in 3 or 4 countries in Europe. So not too bad. And I went trending on Twitter, so people I never heard of. I had influencers talking about me, newspaper, languages I don't speak talking about me, people interviewing me in live stream radio. I reached 500,000 downloads in August 2020. People send me masks. I had a car going around. Spanish guy, the super top comedian in Italy. And that was the group for when you finish the first 50 levels. It went up to 10,000. And that's Italian. There's one in Spanish, there's one in English, there's one in Russian, in German, in French. So it was going very well. There was a YouTube channel connected that went up to 16,000. Lisa Brain. So someone decides that since there is an app that is going well, maybe I can destroy it by taking a fraction of those money. So let's hack their app and publish all the solution and hints, and I start selling 0. Let's publish solution, video with solutions. They make probably nothing out of that, but my game was killed. No one was buying hints anymore because you can just go there and get them. So I had to change one of the things I didn't want to do. I had to make part of the levels in the game paid because I had no other choice. At this point, even if you didn't want, you had to go to Google to search for the solution. So even if you didn't want to see the solution, you end up looking at the solution. And I tried to find this. It's a nightmare. It means it's your full-time work. If you want to do this, I try to write to Google, to the server, because they hack my game. There's a website that published the solution of the game in Hebrew, and Hebrew wasn't even published yet. So clearly, they hacked the game. And that's how complicated Imexo became, because someone hacked the app and re-put it on the store, and people wrote to me like, why are you advertising this product? And I find out someone republished the APK with advertisement. Okay, I'm out of time. So it's huge. There's Lambda function, new levels, huge, huge, huge. So I stopped advertising a bit. Back then I was spending 10,000 a month on advertisement. I had to slow down because from almost breaking even or slightly positive, I went down to losing 30% odds against acquisition. But at the end, I spent 71,000 in ads over the last 3 years, and I made back 102,000 gross. And because you pay Google 30%, which now is reduced to 10, I think at the end I break even. If I didn't have to pay people that work on Imexo, like illustrators. So where am I going? It's like this. It's like this every day, even. You love what you're doing, so it will always be an emotional thing. And I spent over 10 years building my own projects, over probably 5 or 6 building mobile apps, and I made over 150 videos on YouTube. And I spent over £100,000, and I counted even at 1 hour per day, and trust me, it's a lot more. It's over 1 full working year. So I didn't just work 1 year for free. I worked 1 year at loss, huge loss. But I gave work to over 30 people, and 3 years still full-time working for the project, so YouTube and Imexo and China Ghost and many other apps I didn't talk about, so I'm happy. But did I regret? It depends on the day. Sometimes, yes, of course I regret. I could drive a Tesla, so instead of the car you saw before, which was very nice with the sticker, still someone decided to hit it. But But okay, some days yes and some days no. And the community is the most amazing part. It opened me doors that I couldn't expect with people, with possibilities. Someone offered to give me singing lesson for 2 years for free. Can I sing now? No, but I'm less shit than before. So do what you enjoy. That's my main point. That's what I want you to bring home. Do what you enjoy, because if you have to do it for 5 years, the hope to make money will go. At a certain point, it needs to be something you enjoy. And if you want, that's YouTube in Italian, in English, and that's the Imexo link. Thank you.